Welcome back to another episode of the Freakazoid podcast. Today's topic is going to be when they won't let you move on. Coming fresh from the broken heart of somebody who is dealing with somebody who won't let them move on or who wouldn't, I want to talk about what to do if you're dealing with somebody who won't let you move on. I want to speak to the pain and the experience of going through something like that because it's all too real to me, bitch. And then I also want to get into a little bit of why they won't let you move on without going into a list of reasons and just making yourself feel like shit trying to find out which one he is. So let's get into it. Let's just get this big part out of the way. If they do not like you, if they don't want a relationship with you, if they're not that interested in you, or they always come back just to do the same old thing, why won't they just let you fucking go? It ends up putting you in a situation where you have to let them go. Also, with the phrase, they won't let you move on, there's this silent, implicit, you are on and off with this person. That is a part of this message today. If there's been more than one breakup, that is the off moment. And if they've tried to come back 1, 2, 3, 4 times, they are into being on and off. And I know it's a cycle because each time it's the same way. There's always the euphoria of reuniting and then the deep despair of the breakup. And to me in this situation, there's no trophies to be had for anybody. It's a very ugly situation when somebody can't just be dedicated to knowing what they want and staying in that lane. Some people can argue that if you are letting someone continuously be on and off with you, that you don't know what you want. But as somebody who has called it off and then has tried to tell myself, hey, like I'm keeping it off, I actually think we're the victims in this situation. We are lovers. We are forgivers. There's a level of fantasy thinking and delusion happening there, yes. It's not like, oh, I don't know what I want. It's like, finally, they're giving me what I want. I don't know about you guys, but the men in my life who refuse to let me move on never just came to me with this platonic, awesome energy of like, if you're ever stuck on the road in the middle of the night, I got you, girl. You're a human being that I love and respect from a platonic level. They come to me with, I love you. I had time to miss you. I had time to think about you. I realized that I actually do have deep feelings for you. And then they rehash everything that went wrong. And it's almost like they want to make it right. Now they understand. Now they've learned your ways and they don't want to do wrong by you. Or so we tell ourselves. So we think in that moment when it's on and off. So to us, it's clear as day. Yeah, we know what we want, and guess what? We're getting it right now in this moment. It's a celebratory thing. We tell our friends. Everybody's like, oh, no, not again. You're back with that douchebag. How could you? We healed. We thought you healed. So it's never like a happy moment for everybody, only for us because we're experiencing the toxic highs and lows that come with like losing your one source of serotonin, dopamine, and all your little feel-good chemicals, and then thinking like, oh, finally, the source is back. I don't ever have to worry about running out again. But on the outside, to everybody else, it's very clear that this is a person who does not either like you, respect you, love you, who does not know what they want. They're not serious in life. They're bored, or they're, God forbid, they're even just like saying whatever they need to say just to get it in one last time for whatever sick reason they have. I'm honestly not about to start unpacking all of those because this could be like an additional 30 minutes to today's topic. Go find somebody on YouTube or TikTok who made that list in part 5 series. I want to talk about what the fuck do we do in these situations? Okay, first of all, it's almost like a heart attack. You have to come into this situation when you're going off, knowing that you are going to keep it off. But when we say, okay, yeah, we're going to keep it off, it's not just like this little warm, fuzzy feeling you have in your heart. No, you have to create a plan for every situation. Like if he goes left, then I'm gonna go right. If he goes up, then I'm gonna go down. But what does this actually look like when you apply it to this type of dynamic? Expect the douchey unexpected, as in if he's a fucking loser or if he's just a guy who doesn't know what he wants, he will come back. Now, whether you believe that or not is entirely up to you. Whether you celebrate that or not is also up to you. And even though I just said that, a large part of moving on and making sure that they can't come back and gaslight you into being in a relationship with them again or letting them hit one last time is knowing that them trying to re-enter your life is not this big, grand accomplishment and like thing to be celebrating. It's actually a setback. It's actually something that's going to hold you back in more ways than you know. I think in the beginning of this podcast, I was trying to be nice, but let's keep it 100. Most of these guys are coming back because nobody else wants them. They either change physically in a way that makes them look worse, they don't have the game, they don't have the patience, or they don't have the money to court somebody else. That's why they do the same thing every time and they don't change their behavior. They try it with you, they realize that you want to be serious or that you're going to hold them to a standard, you end up cutting it off, they go back into the wild, they get rejected for 3 months, 6 months, maybe even 1 year, and then back they are in your lap acting like they're in love, ready to restart the toxic cycle. And I'm saying this because I want to emphasize, do not hype it up and be proud and think that you got that ooh-na-na just because he came back, because honestly, it really don't say much about you. It says everything about him and where he's at in life. So plan for that. This is a guy who is going to come back, period, okay? Just assume it as a natural given, because that's gonna take you to the next step of what are you gonna do when he texts you? What are you gonna do when he calls you? What is your predetermined reaction to that situation? We just scratched off. We're not gonna be celebrating that, okay? That's not a moment to celebrate. This is a moment to put your plan into training. Now me, I'm weak AF. I will just throw people on block because I don't have it in me to create a plan, especially if I'm leaving because I had to move on. If I had to shut that door, close on their face because they gave me no choice, the last thing I want to do is plan for shutting the door again and again and again. So maybe you don't put them on block. Maybe you feel like that's too aggressive. The situation's not justified for that. Look, if you don't have a plan popping up in the top of your head right now, I'm not saying that you need to send them a text message. I'm not saying that you need to have a zinger or like something zesty planned out. All you have to do is literally nothing. Coming from my personal experiences, interactions will set you back. For myself, interactions take me back to the place and time when I wish that they loved me the most. It reminds me of the times that I pined for them and all the times that I wanted to see them trying, kind of like the way that they are when they won't let you move on. So then I empathize for past me, and because I'm thinking about how the old me would feel if I knew how hard he was trying in present day, I think about what would she do? She would forgive him, she would take him back, she would hope he changed, and she would begin the fantasy thinking of where the relationship could go. That it obviously has never come near with a 10-foot pole. And when I say trying, I mean gaslighting. If anybody follows me on TikTok and sees what I post over there, Scorpio comes back into my life via electronics talking about how we were awesome, he was so good to me, he thinks of me fondly, da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, just all the things that made me wonder, did I miss out on having true love in my life? Was I just too much of a loser to not see it? Did I not approach the, dynamic the right way? Maybe I just didn't communicate things right. I went down to podcast lane and I knew that that was a lie. I knew that my reality was real. I made the decision that I made for a reason, and my life got better for a reason when he left. However, it's not just the gaslighting too, right? They're coming back and they're saying, I love you. And if you're anything like me, it's like, oh, this entire time you loved me? Well, come right on into Club Fleeksy. I didn't know that's how you felt all along. That's all you had to say. Hey, guys, it's cool. He said he actually loves me. Yeah, no, it's different than the last 30 times he said he loved me. This time, there's been like 10 months of no talking, and I'm really satisfying the fantasies of earlier me because I'm not being present in the moment right now. Yeah, it's different. It's going to be so different. I say all this to say, have your plan ready. Know that they're probably going to reach out, and yeah, they're going to throw everything at the wall and they're going to see what sticks, especially if they've done it before. Do not put it beneath them to do it again. Being 100% honest here, I don't know if there's anything I could say to prepare you for gaslighting and all of the logic that goes out the window when emotions get involved, but I want you to know that if you are dedicated to keeping this relationship off, a key part of keeping it off is knowing that if they text you to hang out, it's going to be like, okay, what's the plan? What are we doing? Are there going to be other people there? Oh, it's just you and me? No, sorry. Like, I'm busy. I have to do something. And it's almost like, yeah, you can accuse them of trying to hook up with you or trying to like break the no contact bond or whatever. But I feel like when I did that, that's how I ended up getting gaslit even harder. I know for myself, the Scorpio would be like, oh, I can get it anytime I want. I can get it from anywhere. I don't need to do that to get it from you. You almost like invite gaslighting into it when you make an accusation. So girl, just be busy. If you want to be nice and put a little bow on top of it because you don't have it in your heart to be a little savage yet, you can go ahead and say maybe next time. But if this is a man who you didn't want to end it with, who you felt forced to end it with, who you've had multiple endings with, who makes your heart race, who makes you feel insecure and anxious, and maybe you even lose your fun side of your personality because you're just like in your defensive, like caution, just watching out for danger mode. You need to ignore that man. You need to never mess with that man. Your body is sending you all the signals that nothing about this person is safe. In fact, they are making you sick. You will probably become more sick. So in not being gaslit and in the spirit of actually allowing yourself to move on, you have to tell yourself actively that you are choosing healing. And you have to tell yourself that there's going to be a moment when they come back to you and you are going to handle it in a way that suits you best, that doesn't foster more interaction, doesn't foster defensiveness from him. It only allows the chapter to close. And then when you are there, you need to be present in the moment and think about your future. You have to remember, there is so much good that is yet to come. You're not losing a person that you could have had this great thing with. You explored it. You did what you could to make it work. It's on and it's off because it's dysfunctional and it has no place in your life as a stable piece. So when they try to come back into your life and not let you move on, even if you have actually moved on and you've gotten really far down that path, you need to be like me and know, like, hey, sometimes it really just takes somebody saying that they love me. One of the things that didn't work on me right away, but over time kind of chipped away at me, was when the Scorpio was using the gaslight of like, oh, well, you stopped us from being a thing. You wouldn't be nervous and anxious and weird around me if instead of me being blocked the last 10 months, it was us like actually talking. But oh, you freaked out and you did it for no reason. Bitch, there was definitely a reason. But it's like, these things don't get better with interactions. These doors just need to be slammed shut and never look back. You need to be looking towards the future. Because honestly, by the time it's on and off and it's toxic and dysfunctional and there's gaslighting involved and they're just saying what they need to say because nobody else wants them, so they're just trying to smash one last time, there is truly nowhere to go but up. And that's what you need to be thinking about when they try to come back into your life. Because not only is it a setback, but it's going to be such a distraction from all the good that you have coming your way. I know people say like, oh, the universe, like energy blockers, whatever. You would have so much more energy if you were not focused on making it work with somebody who showed you that it will never work. And sometimes it's just the stories that we tell ourselves that keep us responding to those moments when they don't let us move on. Like for me, the story I was telling myself, I flashed back to the past when I immediately cut him off. I was thinking about the girl who had just freshly cut him off and doing whatever she would have done. But now, I think about the situation. My last interaction with him was like, there is no one else I can show up as. There is nothing better I can be. It is truly you. I have done it all. I have been it all. This is as good as it gets for me right now with you. This is as good as I'm willing to get for you. Like, goodbye. And that's the story shift right there. You're not thinking about the past you, old you, the girl who's dead and gone. And, with the topic of the girl being dead and gone, the old you passes away so that you can become an angel and become light for everybody around you after the fact. You're going to be somebody else's angel, at least, once you lose the douchebag. When you know in your heart of hearts that there's so much more for you, that there's other people who are interesting and other people who are cool and other people who are funny and other people who are going to treat you right and think you're the shit.com, their ability to not let you move on becomes so ineffective. But you have to know that's a possibility for you. You have to believe it. And you can't see them as this pit stop along the road. No, you need to see them as like a cliff that they're trying to get you to drive off of. So I think this is all that I have to say on this topic of douchebags not letting you move on. Expect it coming. Yes, it's not something that we want to expect or plan for. Know that you can do better. There is better. There's so many good things to come in your future. You just have to be open to the possibilities and just letting yourself believe that. And I know there's only so many ways that you can tell yourself these types of things, but get to a place where you can actually believe it because it's going to make a difference. And just know that anything that's meant for you is going to bring you feelings of safety. You're not going to feel scared. You're not going to be wondering over your shoulder 24/7. There's a level of anxiety that's healthy, and then there's the type that's destructive to the point where like you're not even actually connecting with this person, you're projecting. You're creating love that doesn't exist in the relationship. So that's the final episode. I'm going to consider this part 1, assuming that maybe there will be more information down the road for a part 2. If you guys have any ways that you would like me to expand on this topic, feel free to DM me on IG. I also have an official email account where I take suggestions and submissions. It's called fleeksyfeedback@gmail.com. I am Fleeksy on everything. If there is a platform, I am Fleeksy on it. So go find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Also go to the Fleekazoid YouTube podcast channel where I upload this episode, and you can leave comments on it directly and give me feedback on specific episodes, which I really like. But you know what I love? When you guys leave me 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. Yes, I do. It's true. So thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with me. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.